The future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be quite expansive, not just with their TV shows and their movies, but also their books, their novels, their comics, and video games to come. That's really going to be a part of this new Star Wars universe by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about the future of Star Wars is that they are really trying to evolve it as a franchise. They are really trying to create a better future for Star Wars, which I give Disney some credit, even though it seems like an act of desperation in my own opinion. I feel that at the same exact time, at the very least, they are trying to make things better for the fans, at the very minimum. At least there's that, right? We could very well have been in a position where Disney would be doing nothing and just continuing on with their strategy. But now that we have the new Disney CEO, Bob Chapek, alright, he's taking a lot of ideas and concepts from Bob Iger and also applying some of his own ideas and strategies of his own for the future of Star Wars, Marvel, and more. So we're going to see a big change in how this is all going to be handled. It's not just for Star Wars, it's also going to be for Marvel, so looking forward to that as well. Now, Bob Chapek, alright, one thing about this is that a lot of things are being changed in the franchise as we know it. A lot of things are being picked up by what was, of course, scrapped or put to the wayside, or what he actually wants to bring back for the Star Wars fans. And what's really interesting about all of this is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are primarily focused on developing their new Star Wars films and TV shows to be released in the near future to evolve the Star Wars franchise in order to create a better future for such a major brand. Now, it's noted that ever since the new Disney CEO took over, of course, Bob Chapek has been introducing tons of strategies to make Star Wars into a better franchise than it has ever been by Disney and Lucasfilm, and that Bob Chapek will be resurrecting many of what the hardcore fans have wanted to see that either got cancelled or by bringing back fan-favorite content. Now, it's noted that the first step is by bringing back Star Wars Legends from the 1990s and the early 2000s, which will be introduced again next year in 2021, where it's explained that Chapek wants the actual Star Wars Legends content to stay somewhat accurate in how it was approved by creator George Lucas back in the day. However, not just that, but also Chapek has a plan to resurrect George Lucas's abandoned Star Wars TV series, Star Wars Underworld, and that this show is currently in early development and that Chapek wants George Lucas to be involved. Now, it's explained that this was Chapek's move as he makes a slow transition as the Disney CEO after Bob Iger, and that by bringing in Star Wars Underworld and using the scrapped footage to use as an outline for this new story, fans will be able to witness an entirely different side of Star Wars. Now, it's explained also that Chapek will allow George Lucas to be creatively involved with future Disney Plus TV shows, and even the films to arrive in the near future as well, to satisfy the fans and to make Star Wars as authentic as it can be. So, the one thing here about Chapek is that, of course, he is literally saving George Lucas. He is bringing George Lucas back into Star Wars to a pretty interesting level, because when you look at George, right, I myself would have always loved to have seen Star Wars Underworld, and the leaked footage that we got a couple of months ago, never before seen footage of Star Wars Underworld, go ahead and check it out. It is amazing looking. It's what George was going to do sometime back in the, I believe, early 2010s, maybe the mid 2010s if I'm not mistaken. But when you look at everything after that, everything related to George Lucas, the fact that Chapek wants to resurrect Star Wars Underworld and how that's in early development, and also how a lot of Star Wars Legends will be coming back because of Chapek. Now, of course, a lot of this was inspired by Bob Iger, but Chapek is actually getting the job done and bringing it into fruition here. So, this to me, I think, is a great move by Bob. And yes, the new Bob, I think, is going to do a better job than Iger. I just got that gut feeling. There's something about him. Bob Iger seems like he really wasn't too invested in Star Wars until just recently, before he stepped down. And I think that a lot of that had to do with him trying to leave behind a better legacy. And I think a part of leaving behind that legacy was by handing it over to Bob Chapek to take over as CEO. And basically, when we look at Star Wars, a lot of fans just want to enjoy the material, right? We all just want to enjoy content. And The Mandalorian was a great example of that. The Mandalorian was a massive success on Disney Plus. I cannot wait for season 2. I cannot wait for season 3 at that, and so on and so forth. Star Wars Underworld, though, is something completely different. We're going to get a different side of Star Wars, a different taste of the franchise. And that's what George wanted to do back then. That will be basically resurrected into the Star Wars universe for fans. So anyways, guys, with that being said, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, from night to moon, we hear them moans again.